It's Thursday, the 12th of July 2018, and welcome to Navigating Your Day. In Jin Shin Jyutsu, safety energy lock number 12 came into the universe meaning thy will be done. So safety energy lock number 12, when it's open, helps us to align our will with divine will. And when those two forms of will are aligned, then right action takes place. So we can also look at that as the will of our egoic nature with the will of our angelic nature. And when the two of them are operating together, because you need both, then life is navigated more smoothly. That doesn't mean that life is easier, it just means it gets navigated more smoothly. And safety energy lock number 12 is located here in the center of the neck. So safety energy lock number 11 was here on the trap. Safety energy lock number 12 is in the middle of the neck. It's in the waistline of the neck. And so when we open safety energy lock number 12, we open the waistline of the whole body. And on the waistline, we have the liver and gallbladder, the stomach, spleen, and pancreas, and the kidneys and the adrenals, all our major internal organs. So safety energy lock number 12 helps us to open the waistline in a more, shall we say, metaphysical way, as opposed to a purely physical way, which is what we would use safety energy lock number 14 for. Thy will be done, aligning our angelic and our animal natures, requires us to have an understanding that everything is always neutral and that it consists of equal and opposites. And that was what safety energy lock number 11 was about yesterday. 11 was about appreciating that the duality exists everywhere. So we have masculine and feminine within ourselves, and when we marry that duality, then we have the sacred wedding, and when we have that sacred union, then we have a more fulfilled and inspired life, because then we are operating from a more sort of centralized, poised kind of place, rather than being pulled from one side to the other by emotions based on our perceptions. Also, when we have the alignment of our sympathetic, which is the more masculine part of our autonomic nervous system, and the parasympathetic, which is the more feminine part of our autonomic nervous system, then that part of our nervous system that runs all the automatic functions of our body also operates in alignment. And then it becomes easier for us to actually navigate our way through the world in terms of our physical health and our physical body. So that's safety energy lock number 11. So when we go from the 2 of 11 to the 3 of 12, now we start expanding this outward into the world, because we start seeing it all around ourselves. And when we can start seeing this duality all around ourselves, and we can appreciate that support and challenge, pain and pleasure always go together. You never have one without the other. Then we free ourselves from the delusion that we can only have one side. And when that happens, then we start actually harmonizing this angelic nature and the animal nature, or our soul and our ego, or our human will and divine or cosmic will. And then we actually start entering the dance or the flow of life more smoothly and easily. So 12 is a 3, and 3 is the number of expansion. 3 is a number of curiosity. 3 loves the esoteric. 3 is really interested in the world around them that is beyond our senses. 3 helps us to expand into new horizons. It helps to take us further. It helps us to waltz more easily through life. It helps us to go with the flow. It's a very creative number, and it's a very strategic number. So 3 enables us to see the long-term goal. And if you want to create anything, the trick is to keep the goal in mind, hold the tension that you're experiencing currently because you don't have the goal, all right? So, you want that thing, you don't have that thing, so that makes you miserable. So you can equilibrate it and see, okay, how does this benefit you? But then also just hold the tension of, there are some days where you're going to be miserable about the fact that you don't have your goal, and the other days that you're going to be really optimistic. And when you can manage that without trying to fix it, then the next step that you have to take in your life becomes clearer. I feel like I'm speaking directly to myself, because incidentally, on that highly emotionally charged day yesterday, I was fine the whole day until I finished work, and then I got home. And then when it was time to go to bed, push, massive emotional meltdown. So, they say that you have to teach what you most need to learn. That's definitely me today. Right, so we've got the 3 in the day number, and of course we've got the 3 in the hero number, which means we can really call on that strategic, creative energy of the 3, that long-term goal envisaging, as well as the strategic planner to help us get to our goal. Threes can also become contractive. They can start thinking that what they believe is the only way, what their way is the right way. And it's fairly easy for that to happen because that energy of the three, because it is a visionary, because it can see the goal, and because it can actually formulate the strategy, you can get really impatient with people who can't see that. And so we run the risk of today trying to impose our will onto the will of others, particularly people that you feel are subordinate to you. So that could be your children, or it could be subordinates at work, or it could be a partner, it could be anybody. So do guard against that. We've of course got the water essence from July, then the 7 is a water number, and 2 from 2018, so it does help to balance some of all this fire energy that we've got going with the threes, and it helps us to keep our emotions, it doesn't help us to keep our emotions, it helps us to connect to our emotions so that we don't allow ourselves to just trample over others. There's also quite a lot of one energy in the life map today, so this is about being confident about who you are, where you're going, your place in the world, what your future looks like. It's associated with the goal, so that one is very inspiring. It can be very confident. It can be, yes, I can do this. I can see the end point. I can see that got the strategy. I'm going to do this. Or it can be, you know what, I'm just not enough. I'm never going to get it right. It hasn't worked before, so it's not going to work now. And it can spiral down into that sort of spiral of negative self-talk and putting yourself down. So do just be aware of that today. The villain today is a 6. So the 6 in the villain area in the villain position is basically associated with a lack of balance. So we've got this energy, this creative energy of the 3 that's helping us to set goals, to put strategies in place, to get things done, to get going. And then we have there's a 1 energy going on, which is about analyzing and thinking and inspiring and moving forward. Now, with a 6 in the villain position, we could get carried away. There might be too much thinking, too much bulldozing your way forward in the world, not enough connection to your feelings, and not enough groundedness. So it's possible that those goals and those strategies and those grand plans that you're trying to involve everyone else in might not be realistic or practical right now, because there's no earth element in the life map today. So when there's no earth, we can very often feel like we're all over the place. We can feel like our heads are spinning. We can feel like we are spinning. We can feel as if we're disconnected from earth, which is our actual physical bodies. We can really go up into the head and not into the heart or the body at all. So do be aware of that today. Of course, you can do grounding practices such as meditation, deep breathing. If you do a meditation, you can visualize your root chakra sending roots deep into the ground, right? Deep into the center of the earth, keeping you anchored and keeping you grounded. You can, of course, also go outside and walk barefoot on the grass, or lie on the ground, or walk barefoot on the beach, or just connect to nature, or just look at pictures of mountains, rocks, rocks and earth. You can also eat proteins. You can eat cooked foods. You can eat root vegetables. Anything that is warm. I want to say not heavy, but that sort of feels like it sits in your stomach. So that doesn't mean that we don't eat vegetables today. It just means that we focus also on making sure that we have enough grounding foods, because that helps to keep us earthed and grounded in our physical bodies. The finger that we hold today is the middle finger. The middle finger is where safety energy lock number 12 resides. Now, the middle finger is associated with harmonizing the liver and gallbladder organ function energies, and the emotion is anger. So I did say that there was lots of fire and lots of air, so there's this air that's actually fueling the fire today. We might find ourselves flying off the handles, whereas yesterday it might have been deep sadness and it could have been anger, I suppose, but it was likely to be a more emotional kind of outpouring, as in like crying or wanting to cry. Today may be more of a wanting to blow your top. So do be aware of that, and hold your middle finger, because your middle finger helps to harmonize the anger and resentment. The middle finger also helps us to trust in ourselves, to trust in the universe at large, and to believe in ourselves, and to be decisive, to be able to choose what is best for us. So hold that middle finger. You can also hold safety energy lock number 12. You can cup the back of your neck, which means you're holding 12 on both sides, and then you can hold the 20s, which are here on the forehead. One is over here and one is over here. So you can hold one side or the other, or you can hold both. both. 20 is a 2 again, all right? So 20 helps us to connect to the everlasting eternity of who we really are. So we can align our will with divine will, and we can connect to the cosmic vision that we can have for our lives. And that can also help to harmonize too much of this excessive in the head energy today. Hope you have an amazing Thursday, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow.